Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Got it. Okay.
It'll share the screen here. And we will go. Let's read the translations so we will know the storyline. So Arjuna is speaking to Krishna, and Arjuna is saying that Krishna, I'm not going to fight. And Arjuna is giving reasons why he does not want to fight. So some of the reasons that he gives is, he says, sin will overcome us if we lay such aggressors. So he is fearful of incurring sin, because usually we say when you kill, you incur sin. That is one reason. Second reason he gives is the family traditions will get destroyed. And so when the family traditions get destroyed, what happens? The Shraddha ceremony for the elders will not happen. And when the Shraddha ceremony does not happen, then the people who have left the planet, the elders of the family, they may not get a body and they will keep wandering in the ghostly body. Then he says the men in the war will die and the women will be vulnerable to other men, which will generate unwanted progeny. So he says unwanted progeny. And so all the population that will be there in the country will be like hellish. So Arjuna is giving reasons why he does not want to fight. So now let's read 44. 44 says, Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavastita vayam yad rajya sukha lobhena hantum swajanam udmitaha. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Purport: driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. So Arjuna is thinking further on this point, that what all will happen when he fights. So he's bringing in sin again. He's saying we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. And Prabhupada's writing in the purport that when we do action, there is a motivation behind the action. Like there is a motivation behind reading. We want to get closer to Krishna. So Arjuna is saying, what is our motivation to fight? And Prabhupada is saying, driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to sinful activities. One may kill father, brother, mother, just for property, land, or something. We see so many sinful acts happening in the family itself. And he's saying there are many instances in the history like that. But Arjuna is not a person like that. He will not kill someone to get material benefit. So Arjuna is saying, why should I kill to get a kingdom? I'm a saintly person, I'm a devotee. and I don't want to kill. So that's the conversation happening between Krishna and Arjuna.
Arjuna. Okay. Text 45. Yadi mama pradikara shastrapānaya Dhritarashtrārane Panyustanme kshetram bhavet. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Purport. It is the custom according to Kshatriya fighting principles that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He didn't consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to the soft-heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. Yes. This also the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna with Krishna, and he again Arjuna explaining his soft-heartedness. He don't, even though the other party bending to for fight, but Arjuna doesn't want because he is the a great devotee of Lord Krishna.
Yeah, so Arjuna is saying, even if somebody was to kill me unarmed, I would not resist.
Yes, unarmed and unwilling, he should not be attacked. Yes, sorry, I didn't say that one. Anyway, yes.
So if you read the translation says, better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So he is saying, I am ready to die without fighting, but I don't want to fight. Even if they kill me unarmed, I don't care.
Yes.
For Kshatriya, Kshatriyas don't fight. If they are unarmed, they will not fight. That is the rule of the fighting. Only if both the parties have weapons in hand, then they can start fighting. But Arjuna is saying, I am dropping my weapons. And even if the other party with weapons kill me, I don't care. So he is ready to sacrifice his own life, but he does not want bloodshed. He does not want to kill other people, and he does not want so much harm to happen in the society. He is ready to give up his own life. In today's world, we see the other side. People are ready to kill others, but they want to save their own life. But Arjuna is the other way around. He's saying, I'll give up my life, but I don't want to get, I don't want to kill people. I don't want to incur sin.
Because he is the devotee.
Yes. And Prabhupada is writing in the purport that shows his soft-heartedness. In today's world, our hearts are very hard. So we don't care.
Selfish.
Yeah, selfish or hard-hearted. We don't care. We don't think about the other person. We are just too engrossed in our own life. My job, my this, my that. That's my life. Finish. I don't have time to think about another person. Why? Because my heart is very hard. I'm just worried about surviving in this world myself. I don't see others are also in pain. They are also struggling. I just see my pain. I just see my struggle. That is the symptom of hard-heartedness. Here, Arjuna is seeing the pain of the other party. He's seeing the pain that they will undergo in long term. Which is very amazing. Meaning this is something to learn from Arjuna and see how we can apply in our own life.
Correct. Can I continue?
Sure.
Eva Muktarjuna Sankhye Radopata Upavishat Visajya Sajaram Chapam Shoka Samviknamanasa Manasa. Yes. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with the grief purport. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with a lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus, the end of Bhakti Vedanta purports to the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Yes. Here, this part, Arjuna, he stood up in the chariot and then he put his sat down again and put bow and arrow in his side. Then Prabhupada explaining here, his Arjuna is a very soft-hearted person due to his devotional service to Lord. And this in the chapter 1 of the end of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, the observation of the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is the end.
So one thing to note here is, Prabhupada is saying, if we make our heart soft, then we will receive self-knowledge. If you see, the last line reads, such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge.
Self-knowledge. Okay. I forgot. Yes.
So
No.
we think, or the way we are trained in our education system is, when you read books, you will get knowledge. But here, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is saying, if you make your heart soft, Krishna from within your heart will give you self-knowledge. So knowledge, real knowledge, knowledge about the soul is given by Krishna from within the heart. And when Krishna gives that, when our heart is soft. So when we see another person in pain, we feel pain. That is a quality of soft heart. And how we can make our heart soft? We should chant our rounds very nicely every day. And by the chanting of Krishna's name, our heart becomes soft. Why? Because if you go and stand near fire, you become hot. So if you associate with fire, you get the quality of fire, heat. When we say Krishna's name, Krishna's heart is very soft. And when we go associate with Krishna, by taking his name, then our heart becomes soft. So, like in our education system early on, we learned that you should read books very nicely. You should mug up everything very nicely and go and vomit in the exam, and you will get nice marks and you will pass very nicely and you will get a good job. That is how we all are trained.
Yes.
Here, Prabhupada is saying, wake up early, chant very nicely, and as you chant nicely and read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna from within your heart will give you self-knowledge. So, Prabhupada is teaching us how to get knowledge about ourselves. Our education system taught us how to get knowledge about
Education.
all other things but ourselves. So, the education system never focused on who we are, which is the most important thing in the world. And then now Prabhupada is telling us how we can know ourselves by chanting of Hare Krishna. So, since we have time, we will start new chapter, chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. Text number 1 says, Sanjayo vacha tam thata kripaya vishtam ashru purna kulekshanam vishedantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress. The gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose, the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by any analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self. So up until chapter 1, and Krishna is speaking. Now, up until end of the chapter, Arjuna is speaking. Now Krishna starts to speak. What is Krishna saying? He's saying Arjuna is full of lamentation. And by speaking Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is driving away his lamentation. So, the medicine for driving away lamentation is reading of Bhagavad Gita. When we read Bhagavad Gita, all our misunderstandings are removed. Also, Arjuna is talking about compassion. He's saying, oh, I want to be compassionate. I don't want to kill. And Krishna is saying, what is the use of showing compassion for the dress of the drowning man? Prabhupada explains that if a man is drowning in the ocean, he's asking for help, you go swim across to the man in the ocean and take his dress and come back. You leave the person there. You just take his dress and come back. Is that saving a person?
No.
And so, Prabhupada is saying, similarly, if Arjuna does not fight, it's similar to that. He is crying for the dress of a drowning man. Why? Because all these people who are aggressors, sons of Dhritarashtra, he's just trying to save their body. He doesn't want to kill. But internally, the kind of activities that they have done, if he kills them, then it is more beneficial for them, because they will not do more of such activities and drown themselves more into sin. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, kill, because they have done wrong deeds, and if they live, they will do more wrong deeds and they will harm themselves more. So if you kill them, it is better for them. You are saving their soul by killing them, because in a righteous fight, when you kill, the soul is elevated. They will die in front of Krishna and they will become free from all their sins. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, kill. And Arjuna is wanting to save the dress of the drowning man. Arjuna is saying, I don't want to kill them because it will be bloodshed. But Krishna is explaining, if you don't kill them, they will do more sin and they will harm themselves more and more and more. For example, if you see today's government, the government does not punish people for their wrongdoings. What happens by not doing that properly is what we see in today's world. Today, if you open the newspaper and read, you will see there are children being born in a very awkward way. I don't know if you have noticed or read. I was reading, and then a lady delivered a child. The child has two heads, one body, and the child has two heads. You see, there are number of such instances, the diseases that we never heard before. Today, we have those diseases. 50 years back, there was no cancer. There was no tuberculosis. There were not so many hospitals. People lived a healthy, nice, natural life. There was no need of hospitals. But since our government system become weak, they don't punish people, and people keep doing sins over sins over sins, and when they die, the next body they get is full of diseases. If they get a human body, full of diseases, because they have to reap the effects of the sin that they did in the previous birth. So here Krishna is telling Arjuna, because they have done so much sin, if you kill them, you will rid them of all the sin, and next life for them will be a better life. So Arjuna, kill. So somebody who has done sin, he should be punished. That is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. But what is Arjuna saying? Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I don't want to kill. You know why? Because there will be bloodshed. So Arjuna is crying for the dress of the drowning man. Krishna is talking about the actual soul. Like Prabhupada says one more story. He says there was a woman who bought a bird, and she bought a golden cage for the bird. She would every day clean the cage very nicely and keep the cage very clean. She would come every day and clean the cage. After 3 days, the bird died. And she was wondering, oh, I kept the cage so nice, neat, clean. It was a golden cage. What happened? She didn't give any food to the bird. So we do like that. We clean our body very nicely and we keep it very nice, clean externally. And if we don't chant Hare Krishna, then we are caring just for the dress of the drowning man. We are not purifying ourselves. We are just worried about the body, not caring about the soul. So, like Krishna is telling Arjuna, Prabhupada is explaining us that if we really want to help ourselves, we should chant Hare Krishna very nicely. That is the real business.
Yes.
In today's world, we think, oh, if I have a job, I have a bank balance, I'm good. That is my real business. To secure a good job and to have a nice bank balance is my real business. Then when I leave the job here, I leave the bank balance I earned here. So a wise person will invest his energy in what he can take from here. Why am I investing energy in something that I will anyhow leave here? I need a job, I need some money to survive while I'm here, but that's not my real business. My real business is chanting of Hare Krishna very nicely. So whatever purification I undergo, I take that with me to my next life. That is my real business.
Yes.
So you want to add something or you want to read further?
I am going to read further. Kudastva kashmala midam vishame samupastitam anarajya rajishta Sargyama Kirti Karamarjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They led not to high planets, but to infamy. Purport: Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. Therefore, Lord Krishna is referred to the Bhagavad Gita throughout the Gita. Bhagavan is the ultimate in the absolute truth. The absolute truth is realized in 3 phases of understanding, namely Brahman and the impersonal, all-pervasive spirit, Paramatma, or the localized aspect of Supreme within the heart of all living entities, and Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, this conception of absolute truth is explained thus. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam ya jnanavadvayam brahmedi paramatmedi bhagavaniti shabdyate. The absolute truth is realized in 3 phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Such a phase of an absolute truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. These three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects, namely sunshine and the sun surface and the sun planet itself. One who studies the sunshine only is the preliminary student. One who understands the sun surface is further advanced, and one who can enter into the sun planet is the highest. Ordinary students who are satisfied by simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness and glaring effulgence of the impersonal nature may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman features of the absolute truth. The student who has advanced still further can know the sun disk, which is a comparative knowledge of a Paramatma, featuring of the absolute truth. And the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the supreme absolute truth. Therefore, the bhaktas or the transcendentalist who has realized the Bhagavan features of absolute truth are the topmost transcendentalist. Although all students who are engaged in the study of absolute truth are engaged in the same subject matter. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another. And yet the students of the three different phases are not in the same category. The Sanskrit word of
Hang on here. Hang on.
Yes.
Summarize and then move forward.
Here, Bhagavan started to Arjuna. Bhagavan is talking with Arjuna, and he was surprised seeing Arjuna's he was worried about surprised by seeing the impurities on Arjuna. And then he explains the Bhagavan is the ultimate, Bhagavan is the absolute truth, the ultimate absolute truth. And this truth, the absolute truth is defined in three phases, like a Brahman and what are those? I forgot.
It's not there.
Yes, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. The three ways he is explaining, and it is explaining these three things. He explained with he giving an example to the three different aspects of sun, that is sunshine, sun's surface, and sun planet. The basic thing is a sunshine. Normally the people, ordinary people, they want only to study about a sunshine. Little more advanced is the sun surface, and more advanced is the sun planet. But actually all the three combined together, but the combined together can understand only the bhaktas, the real bhaktas, who transformed. But The other ordinary people, they have 3 levels. The sunshine, they can understand that only. They don't want to know about what is sun surface and the sun's planet. That's the way I understand.
That's nice, yeah. Also, Prabhupada is drawing parallel. So the way you read this word,
Which one?
this is Brahman.
Oh,
It is different from
Brahman.
Brahmana. And when you say Prabhupada saying Brahmana, then after this N, there will be a.
Brahmana.
Then that is Brahmana. Brahmana is a person who has Brahminical qualities. But here, Brahman is a feature of the Lord. So this passage is explaining 3 different aspects of the Lord. First is Brahman, second is Paramatma, third is Bhagavan. And Prabhupada is correlating Brahman to sunshine, Paramatma to sun's surface, and Bhagavan to the sun disk. So, like the sun rays are coming from the sun disk, and until and unless there is a surface, the sun rays cannot travel from the sun disk to the earth. So it is one object, sun, and it's been understood in 3 different degrees. Similarly, Krishna is Bhagavan. Krishna is a person, and you can understand Krishna in 3 different levels or categories. So the rays that are coming from Krishna's body, they are called Brahman. And Krishna lives in our own heart. That we call Paramatma. But ultimately, Krishna is a person. And that person we call Bhagavan. But the same Bhagavan is living as Paramatma in our heart. And the same Krishna, Bhagavan's rays are called Brahman. So it's the same like sun surface, and sun disk. That's what he's trying to explain, basically.
Yes. So can I read it?
Yeah, you can read one more paragraph and then maybe we'll stop. This purport is long, so we can continue next week because this is very deep. What Prabhupada's trying to explain here is little we have to discuss and understand.
The Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parashara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, the supreme personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached. But no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in the Brahma Samhita by the Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord or Bhagavan known as Govinda, and he is the supreme causes of all causes. Yes. This paragraph explains why everybody calling Krishna as the Supreme Personality. Because the Veda Vyasas, the Parashara Muni explain Bhagavan is the Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame and beauty, knowledge and renunciation is called Bhagavan. And only Krishna can claim all these included in Supreme Personality of Godhead. No other entity could not. Only Krishna can. That is the Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narayana can possess her. Everything is included in one Godhead is the Krishna. It is wrong.
No, you explained nicely. To add to that, Prabhupada is saying that if somebody tells I am God, then we should verify if he has all the 6 qualities mentioned here. What are the 6 qualities?
Riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and renunciation.
So somebody who has all these 6 in full can call himself Bhagavan. Today, in today's world, if you take Bill Gates or Tata Birla or whoever, they are very rich people, very rich. But they cannot say that they own all the wealth in the world. They are rich, no doubt, but they don't own all the wealth in the world. Similarly, somebody may be very
knowledge,
powerful or very knowledgeable, but they don't have all the knowledge in the world. And somebody who is also little rich, he may not be beautiful. He may not have knowledge, or what to talk about renunciation. So Krishna or Bhagavan is that person who has all these 6 in full at the same time. If you see, Krishna can lift Govardhan Hill. Krishna is so famous. Everybody knows Krishna. He's beautiful. He's so knowledgeable that he's speaking the Bhagavad Gita. At the same time, he is all renounced. He's not like attached in a way that we are attached. He gives every living entity freedom to do what they want to do, although it is harmful for them. He comes to speak Bhagavad Gita, but he gives the living entity freedom to do what they want. And he's the richest person. He owns the whole universe. So such a person is God or Krishna. So we should not fall for cheap people, somebody doing some little magic and saying, I am God. It is not true. To be God is not so cheap. That's why we are reading Prabhupada's book, so we understand what God is, or who God is, or how powerful he is.
And what is this one? No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. What is that?
So Brahma, Shiva, or Narayana, they are appointed by Krishna to do some things. Like when initially this universe is created, Krishna appoints Brahma to create the universe, and Krishna appoints Shiva to destroy the universe. So, and likewise, there are different demigods which operate the universe. Like if you see, there is sun god, there is moon god, there is Vayu, air god. There are so many different demigods who are in charge of different things in the universe for the universe to function. They are called demigods. And Krishna is called God, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And sometimes we misunderstand the position of these demigods to be God. So Prabhupada is saying that what to speak of some little tiny living entity who claims to be God, even Brahma, who created this whole universe, he is not equal to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma is Brahma, but Brahma doesn't possess all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, all renunciation.
Okay.
So Brahma is not Bhagavan. Shiva is not Bhagavan. They are all demigods. It's like if you have a school, this is how I explained one time to my niece. She was asking me, hey, what's demigod? So I said, you go to school, you have a principal in the school, and then you have teachers who teach. Teacher comes to your class and teaches you different subject, but the principal governs the whole school. Similarly, Krishna is like the principal, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas these demigods are like teachers. So a teacher's position is not equal to the principal. So Brahma is Brahma. He is a demigod. He is a powerful person. He created the whole universe. But on Krishna's empowerment. So Krishna gave Brahma the task of creating the universe. So he created. But he is not Krishna.
Yes.
Coming from India, we, like at least the area that I grew up in South India, things are a little messed up. Like in my family, they would have everybody on the altar at home. They will have Ganesh, they will have
Shiva.
Durga, they will have Shiva, they will have everybody. And then they will say, all are gods. We should worship everybody, which is a messed up idea. Prabhupada does not approve of that idea. Krishna does not approve of that idea.
No.
Krishna says, worship goes to only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when you worship Krishna, then you automatically worship the demigods. You don't have to explicitly worship demigods. Worship goes to Krishna only. And that's the reason Prabhupada is emphasizing no living entity, including Brahma, Shiva, Narayana, can possess opulence as full as Krishna. No one is equal to or above him. So Krishna's position is very distinct, like the President of the United States. Very distinct. You may have different ministers, but the minister has power, but the minister is not the President of the United States. The President of the United States is President of the United States. His position is completely different. So you cannot mix and say, oh, President of United States and other ministers are all okay. They are same. They are not same. Similarly, the Krishna and demigods are not same.
Yes.
So that's what Prabhupada's explaining, and that's what this verse of Brahma Samhita is being quoted, which we will do next time. Say, Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Somebody may ask, oh, how do you say Krishna only? People will ask, why Krishna? And because the scripture says, Krishna is saying, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, Ganesh or Brahma or Shiva didn't come and speak Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is exemplifying his own position by coming and speaking, saying, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So anybody with little sense will understand. But people who want to argue will still argue.
Yes.
One time there was a person who came from Europe and he was searching for who is God. And somebody told him, you go to India and you will find God. So he came to India and he started visiting all the temples in India. Why? Because he wanted to find out who is God. So after visiting all the temples in India, he concluded, he said, Krishna is God. So someone asked him, how do you conclude? Why are you saying Krishna is God? Then he said, I went to all the temples and whatever demigods you see, they are all doing something. Durga, she has a trishul in the hand and she's protecting something. All Ganesh, Lakshmi, Shiva, these all people, they're doing something. They have some function to perform and they are working for somebody. They are servants of someone and looks like they are servants of Krishna because Krishna is the only one who is happily sitting and playing the flute. Krishna is not doing anything. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all these demigods are serving him. Meaning a wise person, an intelligent person can make out. But people who want to argue can argue. It's up to them. But Prabhupada is helping us. Okay. Should we stop here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.